All right, so diving in here. So the first one that I'll talk about today is kind of in the northern part of the county. So this is FM 455 interchange on 35 up north, including quite a bit of FM 455 as well, going through Sanger, headed west out to Bolivar. So this is reconstructing and widening the main lanes of 35. So this is not a capacity job for 35, but it is reconstructing the interchange there at 455. It will be kind of that full build out, kind of get a little piece of the frontage roads, but the main thing is to reconstruct the interchange as well as 455, and it goes from about FM 2450 to east of Marion Road. And again, it'll get a little bit of the frontage roads, but it's really not the primary purpose, is mainly to get that interchange done. So this is about a $93 million project. It let last week for construction, so we should be awarding that toward the end of July. So we will most likely, if you've been out in that area, you've seen a lot of dirt turning already, and that's been the utilities relocating. We ought to see construction start probably around November timeframe on this. So that is our 455 interchange project. Moving along, this is what we call our Mayhill job, and I mentioned I didn't know if I had a slide, but I got a question on this one a minute ago, and I do have a slide, so that's good. So this is what we call our Mayhill project, and we're working on what started as a reconstruction of the Mayhill interchange on 35E, there south of Loop 288, and has kind of grown into addressing some other issues, I guess, in that area. Is going to reconstruct the frontage roads from Mayhill as well, all the way to Loop 288, in addition to installing a couple of bypasses at Brinker. So if anybody's familiar with that area, there's a lot of traffic back up at Brinker, and so when this project is complete, it'll add some bridges that you can bypass. So if you're trying to get to Loop 288 northbound, for instance, or Lily Miller, you can just bypass Brinker. You won't have to stop at that light. So this is a really exciting project for us. It's about $85 million. And again, the biggest focal point would be reconstructing Mayhill and widening underneath Mayhill to kind of match both sides, because currently I think we're 4 or 6 lanes on either side of it now. So it'll open up underneath and give capacity under the roadway for Mayhill, also reconstruct some of the main lanes at 35, and then also all those frontage roads from Mayhill to Loop 288. So this is a big project we've got coming. We're looking at probably letting toward the end of next year timeframe. So also on 35, so I guess I kind of jumped the gun, but big, surprise, we're working on 35 some more, everybody. I hope everybody's really excited. I know there's probably a lot of shock, but so anyway, to keep going, this is 35W. This is a very large project, and we're still working out all the funding because it's a little over $300 million. But this project is constructing frontage roads on 35W. In addition, it will reconstruct all the interchanges. So it's not the main lanes yet, although those are being looked at, but it will accommodate the main lanes to be reconstructed in the future. But the primary purpose of this is to get frontage roads out there and reconstruct all the interchanges. If you've been down that corridor, you've seen a lot of the bridges crossing 35W are very narrow, and so this will reconstruct into wider crossings, as well as the frontage roads, which gives access and garners the development in the area. So we are just wrapping schematic. They're just starting to buy the right-of-way for this corridor, so we're still a few years out, and when we're working kind of with our local partners to identify good breakout projects to kind of get this thing going to start construction. So that's our 35W project. So moving along here, this one is another very large one for us. So this is a Texas Clear Lanes project, which is a funding mechanism through our TXDOT Commission in Austin. But ultimately, this is a reconstruction of 35, where 35E and W come together in Denton, all the way up to the Cook County line, and actually into Cook County a little bit. So there's kind of 4 major projects shown. One we've already talked about is the 455 breakout in the middle, or toward the middle of the top there. We talked about that one a minute ago. Kind of the next biggest one on there is going to be the 35E and W. Depends on who you're talking to. Some people call it the merge and some people call it the split. I guess it depends on which way you're coming, right? But I tend to call it the merge. In my head, it's the merge. So 35E and W, where we're reconstructing, it's basically going to be right there where E and W come together, so right at Bonnie Bray and just south on W, and it'll go up through US 77. So it'll go through 380, through Loop 288 and hit US 77. So that's going to be a very large project. little over $450 million right now, depending on when we actually go to construction. So that'll be a full reconstruction. Again, if you're familiar with the area, you probably saw us go and flip some ramps in the past year. That was a very successful project, we think, and we've got partners from City of Denton. We worked very closely with them. We were very pleased to get that out and deployed, and it's definitely helped, but this is gonna be the ultimate construction of that. So this is kind of building on some of the work we did there, but it's gonna reconstruct the main lanes and the frontage roads and the ramping and all of that area. Yes, ma'am.
Are you guys through with like, okay, where 380 and University intersect there, and y'all added another lane? Is that finished, or are you guys doing anything else?
Yes, right there at the exit from 35. Yeah, that's that interim project that we talked about, where we recognized the need for something that needed to happen sooner, because this project needed to buy right away and move utilities and those kind of things. So we saw the need for something that we could do to help now. And so, yes, ma'am, that interim job is complete, but this will go reconstruct all of that. So that project was to go out there to help and improve safety today and not wait. This project will go and reconstruct everything, add more capacity, and new ramps and those kind of things. But for today, we are complete with that project, but it's a stepping stone to get us to the ultimate project. And then, so that's what we call the merge. And then as we go north, on the screen, that's the black project. As we go north, we've got the red and the yellow and the blue, and we call that 35 North, and that's, of course, to my counterpart in Cook County, that's 35 South to him, but that's for us, it's 35 North. And so that is a full reconstruction of 35, including the main lanes, the frontage roads, the bridges, crossing, the whole thing. So last estimate, I think it was close to 650 million, somewhere in that range. And so we're working and breaking out into separate projects that'll continue to let. So it'll be 455 is already let. Next, we'll see that merge in Denton, and then we'll keep working our way north. And you can kind of see over there on the right hand of the screen where we've got 2 lanes going northbound, 2 lanes southbound, and we've got those frontage roads. So the proposed is what's down there, and that purple is what you see is what we call our additional capacity. So that's the extra lanes that will be part of the project when it's finished constructing. All right, moving along here. I think I hit most of these notes already, so there's a lot of text. I'm sure they give the PowerPoint out correct. So if you want to go back and have some good bedtime reading, there's a lot of notes here. But ultimately, we've just wrapped the right-of-way on most of this project. So we're moving quickly into utility relocation to get the projects cleared for construction. All right, moving along. What do we have here? So this is 1173 headed out to Crum from 35. So this is a reconstruction. This is a 2-lane rural roadway today that's serving a quickly growing community. And so this is a reconstruction to an urban type section with a median. It's going to be 3 lanes each direction. And there is some minor realignment. I guess it's not minor, it's pretty major. So it's going to be the east end of it where it connects to 35 is going to be shifted north to Barthold. It's just north of the Love's truck stop. And that'll actually line it up with US 77 on the east side of the roadway. So this project is a little further in the queue, but we are buying right away for this project and moving utilities as well. It's about a $43 million job. And then bumping a little further south, we've got FM 1515. This is very similar to 1173 in the sense that it's a 2-lane rural today. It will be reconstructed as a 4 to 6 lane, 4 meaning it might go in as 4 and ultimately become 6. But a 4-6 lane divided urban, and that's from Bonnie Bray to Mosh Branch. It's a $35 million project. And we've got a couple more here. So over on the east side of the county, we've got FM 1385. So again, very similar to what we've been, it's a recurring theme, right? As Denton is blowing up. We've got 2-lane rural roadways in areas that, and you all are probably a lot more familiar than I am, just the communities that are rapidly developing along them. So again, similar theme. This is a rural roadway being reconstructed as an urban facility. Again, when we say urban, that means it'll have the curb and gutters, the sidewalks, the medians in the middle, the grassy medians, those kind of things. And right next to it, 2931, exact same story. A rural 2-lane to the 6-lane urban. So that's a 1385 is a $170 million job, and 2931 is another $89 million job. So let me back up because I know, and one the guy brought up was 380. So we are working on 380 now. 380 is in construction. There's kind of two parts of it. The first part is from Denton, and I don't have a slide on this, I'm sorry, but I figured I would talk about it here. So 288 on the east side of town to where 377 cuts up north. That's kind of the first phase that let first. They're almost to phase 2 of their construction, and that job is not some, it's the main lanes are there that are needed, but it's going in and adding that median in between the main lanes and ultimately reducing the speed, converting it from a high-speed facility to a low-speed facility. So that job, they've done the work on the eastbound side. They're shifting now over to the westbound side. And once they finish that, then they'll come back in and put the median in the middle. Then if you go a little further east, you've got the job that just started construct. Well, it's been 6 months now. So they started around January, and that's from where 377 goes to Pilot Point east to the Collin County line. And that is a reconstruction as well. That's adding capacity. Most of that area is 2 lanes each direction with the center turn lane. So this will go in, it will add the median in between. It will be 3 lanes each direction, as well as the 5 grade separations along the corridor so that it won't, it's not a freeway, but also you won't be stopping. You'll be kind of going up and over. If you've gone into Collin County and you've seen like 289 and D&T where you go up and over, that's what these are going to be. So there's 5 of them on that corridor that are being constructed as part of that project. So we're moving very quickly with our contractor and trying to get it on the ground. I know there's a lot of traffic. Interesting fact, because we're talking to our guys about safety and being safe out there while you're in construction. We realized the other day, looking at the numbers, that 380's got the same traffic counts as 35W, which is an interstate roadway. It just blows you away, right? One's a freeway and one's a 4-lane. So there's a lot of traffic on 380. So this will definitely help with that when we get construction completed. So.
Next, I'll go over the project, I-35. The overall project, like I said, is going to start at FM 3002 in Cook County, and it's going to go up to mile marker 1 or Merrill Wolf Road in Love County, Oklahoma. It's about 22 miles long overall, and the proposed project is predominantly rural. As I said, Cook County is mostly rural, and it does pass through the cities of Valley View and Gainesville. So back in 2007, September 2007, the Wichita Falls District did do a feasibility study, and then after we published that, we developed a build alternatives to present to the public in public meetings. So our first public meeting was in May 2009. Then after we got comments from the public, we began our environmental analysis and prepared our environmental assessment, or our EA, in 2014. After developing those, we had subsequent public meetings, as you can see there in the middle. But due to some conflicts with BNSF Railroad in Valley View, we had to remove a railway realignment through the city there. So after we removed that railway realignment, we had to go back to Valley View and have another public meeting in February 2020 to let everybody know the new schematic and new proposed design plan. After the public meetings, we conducted a public hearing, which takes into account public comments and any comments or considerations from locals in the area. Anybody's welcome to come to that. And then after we had that in September 2020 at the Gainesville area office. It was kind of different and new. It was a virtual public hearing too, because that was kind of interesting during COVID. But it's still out there online too if y'all want to go look at that. After the public hearing, we finalized the EA and project decision from FHWA. Then we began our right-of-way acquisition and final design processes. Currently, phases 2 and 3, the north and south section, the right-of-way acquisition is not complete, neither is the design phase. But the middle section, section 1, is currently under construction, so obviously the right-of-way and the design has been completed. We are still working with utilities to get them moved. The utilities won't move until we get all the right-of-way bought, so there's no utility movement on the north or south sections. So why do we need this project? Obviously, it was proposed to improve mobility, add capacity, accommodate economic development opportunities, and improve the safety of the traveling public, both local travelers and regional travelers to the area. Because as you know, just across the border, there's the world's biggest casino there, the WinStar Casino. So we got a lot of travelers going from Texas to Oklahoma, spend their money there. I-35 is part of the FHWA and TXDOT freight network, which means it's identified by both the federal government and us as being a primary source of where all the freight and supplies gets shipped and moved through the state and through the nation. It is also part of the Texas trunk system, which in turn encourages the economic development opportunities in the rural areas. It's also part of the strategic highway network, which is used for military purposes, moving troops and supplies back and forth. What problems need to be addressed? The proposed project is needed because the roadway's capacity is inadequate to safely meet current and future local and regional traffic volumes, resulting in congestion and reduced mobility for this stretch of highway. Currently, I-35 in Cook County has 44,000 daily travelers, and that's projected to nearly double to about 88,000 in 2040. And of that, 20 to 25% of that traffic is truck traffic. So to help mitigate for the congestion, it was proposed to widen the existing 4-lane facility to an ultimate 8-lane facility. That's going to be 4 lanes in each direction. Currently, the 3 phases that I'm talking about is going to be built in a 6-lane interim section. So the ultimate 8-lane is 4 12-foot wide travel lanes with 2 10-foot wide shoulders on the inside and outside. The 6-lane interim is only going to be 3 travel lanes with a 12-foot shoulder, and that's for the future reasons. So after we build the interim, we're going to come back, get some more funding, come back and build that 10-foot shoulder, then restripe everything so you have your 4 lanes and your 10-foot shoulder. Studies of one-way traffic patterns have identified one-way frontage roads as a safer option for travelers. So obviously we've elected to convert non-continuous frontage roads to one-way continuous frontage roads. And what that means is somebody can get on the frontage road in Denton County and go all the way up to Oklahoma just on the frontage roads if you don't feel safe, traveling on the main lanes. You do the same thing coming down from Oklahoma. You can go all the way down into Denton County. So grade separations will be provided at approximately 1.5 miles throughout the whole corridor. All the grade separations will go under I-35 except for US 82. They're in the middle of Gainesville. It'll stay over I-35. In addition, 2 new bridges will be constructed for the main lanes, as well as one of the existing bridges. The current southbound structure will be used as a 2-way frontage road over the Red River. That schematic has been posted online at TXDOT.gov. Y'all can search for it. If you go there, just type in I-35 Cook County. So the estimated construction cost of that interim 6-lane facility I was talking about is approximately $677 million. That's for all 3 phases. It's broken up into 3 different projects. And then the additional $78 million that we project is for the ultimate 8-lane facility where we come through there and we'll add on that 10-foot shoulder and then restripe everything. That's going to be a total estimated construction cost of $755 million. And of course, that's expected to grow from here on out. The 2035 Texas Rural Transportation Plan, which is the rural component of the 2035 statewide long-range transportation plan, designated these projects from Denton County to the Oklahoma border as the top 4 ranked improvement projects for TXDOT Wichita Falls District. So if that gives you any $755 million, that's over about a 10-year process. Our normal budget is around $100 million a year. That's for construction and maintenance. So this is, quite a big project for us in our district and Cook County in particular.
It'll be finished in 2035, is that what that is? The complete project for 35?
It's actually projected to finish in 2039, but that's kind of the long-range deal. Hopefully the contractors try to meet milestones. We got early finish milestones, so hopefully they meet those and they'll finish sooner than that. So right-of-way acquisition, approximately 124 acres of additional right-of-way was needed for the proposed widening project. Of that, 163 parcels were dealt with. Of the 163 parcels, 6 were recognized as commercial properties. 2 had abandoned structures, a warehouse, which has been removed, and a motel, which is in the process of being removed. Of the 4 remaining, Luigi's Italian Restaurant and Joe McIlrath Company, not sure I'm pronouncing that right, they have relocated already, but Hilltop Conoco, Lone Star Exxon, they are still in the discussion phase of the right-of-way acquisition. No residential displacements were anticipated on this project, and TXDOT does offer relocation counseling and financial assistance to residents and businesses that are displaced by the right-of-way acquisition process. If you go to TXDOT.gov, you can search for a Uniform Act or the TXDOT Relocation Assistance Program. With that, I'm going to delve into the actual phases a little bit more. Like I said, phase 1 is under construction currently. It's about 7 miles long, starts just south of 82 there, and ends about 1.5 miles south of Spring Creek Road. Projected at $210 million. Like I said, that's probably going to go up due to inflation and stuff. The contractors, 2 contractors actually won this bid, the low bid, Austin Bridge and Road and Zachary Construction. After letting, they formed a joint venture called Austin Zachary Joint Venture, or AZJV. You might see their new logo on their trucks if you're ever up that way. The design consultants were Consor Engineering. The inspection consultants is IEA Incorporated, and they're in charge of making sure the roadway is built to TXDOT standards and specifications with TXDOT oversight, and that it's built in a fiscally responsible manner. Construction did begin in June 2021, and currently the contractor's on schedule to finish on time. Barring any unforeseen complications, they should finish by December 2024 or earlier. This is a major milestone here. If anybody's familiar with the area, this is FM 51 through the middle of Gainesville or California Street. It currently goes under I-35, but we are raising the structures to meet our minimum vertical clearance of 18 foot 6 inches. And we're adding a Texas turnaround on the south to your right, north is to the east, to your left. So we are adding the Texas turnaround south. And if you will notice down there in the bottom right, that pink or purple is the existing direct on-ramp we had. And we're removing that, for safety reasons and building our continuous one-way frontage roads through town. Here's another example of the increased factor of safety. This is a horizontal curve that's just south of 51 north of Elm Fork there. The pink and purple is the existing highway. This curve right here meets a 75-mile-an-hour design speed, so that's part of that in the streak that I was talking about earlier, where we expand on our design safety. Also, side note, I don't know if y'all can see the orange line up at the top, but that's the existing right-of-way. So everything else between the road and the right-of-way is going to be state surplus. So it may I don't think we want to keep that on our books, so that may go up for sale or give it away to the city, whoever wants it, after we go through that process. This is another milestone, FM 1306 overpass. 1306 does currently go over the interstate, but we're flipping the stack at this location where it will go under the interstate. We're adding Texas turnarounds, and we're going to meet our vertical clearance of 18 foot 6 inches. And then we're getting rid of the jug handles. You can see the little pink or purple areas there for a more conventional intersection there. This is the last overpass on this section of highway, Spring Creek Road. It currently does go under the interstate, but like I said, we are lifting the bridges to meet our vertical clearances, and we're sucking in the frontage roads just a little bit there. You can see the pink and purple. That way we can meet a conventional intersection for the frontage roads. And again, that's probably going to be a lot of state surplus there in that area. So phase 2 is our north section, about 7.3 miles long. It's going to start there at exit 1 or Merrill Wolf Road in Oklahoma and continue south to just south of 82 where our current construction project began. It's projected to be $280 million. And like I said, they just reran the numbers, so now I think it's up to $310, $315 million. Contractors unknown. We haven't gone through our design, bid, build, letting process yet. We're currently in design. After they finish with design, we'll put it out for letting for the contractors. Lowest bidder gets the job. Design consultants, CP&Y Incorporated. Inspection consultants is Consor Engineering. They'll be held to the same standards IEA is in the current construction process. Scheduled to begin construction June 2024. Projected to finish November 2029. Like I said, these are projections. These aren't reality. So as we get into construction, that tightens down because they want to meet their milestones and earn more money. Phase 3 is the south section, about 5.5 miles long. It's going to begin where our current section ends, just south of Spring Creek Road, and then it's going to end north of FM 3002. And like Travis said, everything south of that's going to be handled out of the Denton County area office. This project's projected $187 million. No contractors known yet because we haven't gone through our process. Design consultants, Consor engineers, they are currently at the 30% design development stage. CPNY is at the 30% on the north section, so they're a little closer to getting it finished. Inspection consultants are unknown. We haven't gone through our consultant selection process yet either. Construction is set to begin May 2026, projected to finish September 2031. This 2026 is, we're trying to push it up closer to try and be in 2025 as well. So that way we don't have this, this entire construction project, for over 10 years out there. With that, here's some quick contacts. If you want any other questions answered in the future, Sean Barnes at the Wichita Falls District Office, he helped with the schematic. He's been in on this process since the beginning. Myself in the Gainesville area office, I'm the project manager and probably will be the project manager over all 3 sections. You can email my projects, Wichita Falls at TXDOT.gov. That'll go to our PIO, Public Information Officer, Adele. And any additional information on the current status of the projects, you can join our Facebook group, Twitter at those handles. If you want to find traffic phases or construction information, plan details, you can go to I-35.org, and that also expands 35 throughout the state. That encompasses that. Traffic conditions and closures, drivetexas.org. That's for any roadway in Texas as well. And then Project Tracker has details on the future phases in the area at that location, at that website. Like I said, we're a little bit more rural county, so the rest of the projects aren't as flashy as Denton or Wise or Collin County. We're taking small 24-inch roadways that may or may not have a shoulder, widen them, putting on a 3-foot shoulder. Another major project we have is in Monte County. From Nakona West, we are dividing that highway. It's currently a 2-lane roadway with Super 2 passing sections. We're dividing into a 4-lane divided highway, so now 82 will be divided from Wichita Falls all the way to however east it goes, however far that goes. So, yes, ma'am.